Yo, 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 everybody. Welcome back. It's Paul here, and it's Arts and Crafts Day here at the Kusumi. We're going to take this rusted, neglected old shuriken here in the style of Negishi Ryu. So it's a very beautiful, neglected, rusty shuriken, okay? It's 8-sided, tapered down the back here, tapered in the front to a nice point. And we're going to take this rusty old shuriken, make it into this nice black beauty shuriken here. Then we're going to wrap it in tape. I'm going to show you how to do this in this video here. Wrap it in tape, and then the final thing we get here, a beautiful Negishi Ryu Shuriken. It's a bit, let's say, in the style of, because you know, every shuriken maker is a bit different, right? Now, I got this shuriken from a craftsman in Gunma. He just retired this year. I went up to see him, and he had a box of these left over. Someone had ordered them and then not picked them up. Can you believe it? So he had this box full of these. Well, not a whole lot, but he had some left over. And I said, hey, I'll take those. So lucky for me, I was able to get a few of these, because you can't find people that make these. Really, nobody wants to make this, would you? It's 8-sided. Imagine the amount of work it takes to taper this down, all with 8 sides. That's like, you could make 8 shuriken in the time it takes you to make one Negishi Ryu Shuriken, right? So, it wasn't your poor man's shuriken, okay? Right? This was probably for some samurai who was nice and wealthy. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. We need 3 things. We got this tape. This is this kind of tape that's used for painting, right? Like painting your house, right? It's called masking tape, but it's easy on, easy off masking tape. Very lightweight. I love it. It's very easy to use. And we have this glue here. It's a glue that's used for like model building, okay? So it's not one of those like instant bonds, super glue type thing that's going to stick your fingers together and you're going to be stuck together for like weeks. No, this is good, fine, get on your fingers, get it on your eyelids, it's okay, no problem. Well, don't get it on your eyelids, but you know, it's good. You can use it, no problem, it's safe. I also have a bit of black washi tape here. This is a Japanese paper tape, and that's going to be a little bit of a accent on it, or a nice blackened finish to it. Also, my friends said, the friends who taught me how to do this, they said, hey, you need a nail clipper, and not one of them cheap ones you always get at the 100 yen store, but you know, something that costs a little bit of money. So I got one. I hope it was worth it, right? So we got this nice nail clipper. We call that tsumekiri in Japanese, and we got the string. We got black string here. You don't have to use black string. You can use whatever string you want. Now, this is a thin, about 1 millimeter thickness to the thread here. It's made of all cotton. But of course, you know, if you were making more luxurious shuriken, you know, for your high-end clients, right, you'd probably want to wrap it in silk, you know, in the favorite colors of that samurai, whatever, and then put on Japanese lacquer. That's the deal. These were not cheap shuriken. Probably something that a ninja probably wouldn't be carrying around, because can you imagine, you know, that's pretty obvious what it is, right, you know? Ninja doesn't want to be busted, right? So what are we going to do? The first thing we do is we get it nice and beautiful. We just take a rag, we take some of this oil, a little bit on the rag here, and just, you can use whatever oil you have. You know, I just happen to have here in the kitchen, Tomoe's probably going to kill me. It's a canola oil, okay, canola oil, I guess, right? And we're just going to rub this on here like this and get this nice, beautiful. Now, these shuriken have been antiqued, right? So they've been sort of baked in this oven with some smoke and chemicals for, you know, 2 or 3 days, maybe 3 or 4, I can't remember. But it's a quite lengthy process, right? So some people actually find these shuriken and they think, hey, this is an actual antique, and they would sell it as such, but I won't lie to you. This is an antiqued version of the Negishi Ryu Shuriken. So look at that. That's all it takes to get that rust off and to make that iron look beautiful, right? Look at that. So I don't know if you can see that maybe on the overhead camera, but man, it looks better already. It looks brand new, you know. It looks like sleek and beautiful, you know, like man, like I want to carry around with me. You see that? So now you've got it nice and beautiful. So put this other black one down here. Next thing we do is we're going to wrap the handle in this lightweight tape to make the shape, make the form of the Negishi Ryu Shuriken, right? Back end is tapered down, right? And you see that on the overhead camera, right? So this back end is tapered down. We got to make this handle part here by wrapping that tape around it. And you see it's kind of thicker at the end. So how we do that, we're going to create like a thick tunnel out to about here. And I'll show you why and how we're gonna do that. Just like this one here. See how we've created that hole in there? And we're gonna stuff some tissue down in there. And you see how we've kind of brought it and got it a little bit thicker as it goes to the base. That's hard, we're gonna give it a shot. Now, I'm not so good at this, but some of my friends are really good at this and they make it look super easy. They've been doing it for a while. Me, I've done like 3 or 4. So we're gonna start just wrapping it, right? And you wanna kind of keep it tight and try to not get so many ridges in it, you know? Because those ridges are gonna show up once we get that, once we wind the string around it. So you really wanna try to keep it nice and, let's see how long I'm gonna make this one. That's about right. You know, it's all about personal preference anyways, these shuriken, right? So you don't have to get too crazy about how many centimeters was it or how many millimeters to the base was it. It doesn't really matter, right? Every shuriken changes over time, right? Based on the student, what they like to throw. You know, maybe the master, maybe he says, you know, I don't like these, you know. There are some shurikens out there that I just do not like, I'll tell you right now, from different schools. I'm like, why in the world would you make a shuriken like that, you know? I tend to like these shurikens that have these longer, thinner, you see that? These longer, thinner tops. I even like thinner shurikens because why? Because they stick better, that's why. Big, thicker ones don't tend to stick as well as thin, sharp ones. I mean, that makes sense, right? So I'm going up towards the end here. Like, I don't even know if it's true or not, but I'll say it. You know, like the Katori Shinto, is that it? I don't know. There's a Katori Ryu, right? And I don't like their shurikens. You know, I don't mean anything against you guys, but I just, you know, the way it is now, that shuriken, I just don't like it. It's got this kind of like very blunt point on it. So it seems like to me it would take, it takes a lot of, well, I don't want to say skill, but sometimes luck to get that thing to stick into a mat because it pushes itself out, right? Just the dynamics of the way the metal hits the target, right? So I'm trying to get this thing up past the, see that? I'm trying to get it up past the hole there because we're going to stuff that with, well, today tissue, but back in the day they might have used cloth or washi or whatever else they had around. That looks pretty good, okay? And see, it's getting, let me show you. So I'm trying to keep that end here to get thick, and I always tend to make it too small. But you see, now you see my end is thicker, and of course this middle part here is kind of thin, so I'm going to have to fill that in now with tape here. Now, I like using this lightweight masking tape, or because, well, because it's lightweight. You know, I think if you were probably going to roll this with some duct tape, you might have a massively heavy shuriken on your hands, right? Oh my God, what am I doing? This looks terrible. Come on, get it back. I'm going to that skinny part there. I'm going to spend a few minutes here just wind this up. That should kind of even out some of those nasty ridges I had there. Yeah, it's kind of taking them out. That's good. So I'm liking the end here, although it could be a little bit, could have been a little bit thicker down the end there. Well, you know, nothing's going to be perfect, but here we go. Now, just fill this space in here a little bit. Try to get a nice, even taper going down there. Again, you know, it doesn't really matter. Oh, there's Donzo out there screaming, right? He just got some new toys to play in the sand, and he's right outside my window here. So, wow, look at that. I think it turned out pretty good. You see, it's got that nice taper to a thicker bottom. Again, you know, I think that bottom could be thicker. You know, the Negishi Ryu guys, they like that thicker bottom here, right? And who doesn't, right? You know, THICC, right? You know, I like it, but it doesn't matter if it's thick or thin. It doesn't really matter. I like them both, right? As long as you can throw them, right? It's all about that, right? Are they useful? Now, these Negishi Ryu Shuriken are a bit different to throw, right? They're heavy, right? They're not like these thin, small shuriken. These are heavy, big, thick boys, right? So, you know, throwing from up close, it's easy. Bam, you can hit the target easy. Throw all with might, power, whatever, it's easy. But as you get farther away, these things, almost lob, like they kind of missiles, and they come lobbing through the air, and by their own weight, they kind of, boom, stick into the target, right? So they're a little bit of a different throw when you get a little bit more distance on them. But yeah, just make sure you can throw them, right? Doesn't matter if they're thick or thin or tapered or whatever, all right? Although I tend to like mine thick, all right? And we're gonna stuff some of this tissue down in it like this. Now, again, they wouldn't be using tissue here, but they'd be using other kinds of paper or cloth or whatever they had on hand. Roll this up. You know, you could like soak this in like a super glue or some sort of bond, right? It gets nice and liquidy. You could just stick it down deep in there. But you don't have to. And the less work, the better for me. I'm just gonna stick this tissue in here like this and try to get that back end to get a little bit thicker. A little wider, I should say. That's probably not gonna fit. We're getting a lot in there. All right, so I'm gonna use this other shuriken just to make sure I got it. Now, see, I could get some more in there maybe, just a little bit more. So, it's it's a fun thing to learn here, right? Now you can use this process that I'm showing you on any type of shuriken, on any type of weapon. Like, for example, here's a kozukai that, for fun, I did yesterday as well, right? Now this is a thicker one. This is nice for throwing, actually. And you can see it here on my overhead camera, I believe. Yeah, there it is. That we've wrapped the handle here in black thread again. Of course, you can use whatever kind of thread you want, different colors, different, you know, silk or cotton or whatever. And if you really want to make it look, you know, sweet, then this Japanese lacquer. This is the Japanese lacquer one. I hope you can see that. It's just got a really nice feel to it, and really brings out the texture of the threads as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of work here. Now you see, look at this. Now see, here's the difference, right? Look at these two. Negishi Ryu in the style of shuriken. So on the right here, we'd have the standard size Negishi Ryu Shuriken. And then we have this smaller one that some of the people like to throw. One of my friends, he's a big proponent of this smaller version. He really loves the smaller version, right? So it's really up to you. You can make your shuriken any size, any weight, any shape. Just make sure you can throw it, right? Now let's get this black washi tape that I told you about earlier. I'll tell you what, you know, turning 53, I used to make fun of Yabanaka for not being able to see. He'd be reading his phone like this, you know, and I'd be laughing at him, thinking, that's never gonna happen to me. It happened, right? I'm taking my vitamin C and vitamin D, and it still happened. All right. Maybe I should do something like stare into the sun or something. I don't know. You know, do some more eye exercises. So we're gonna put this around the back here. And just cap the back end of it off like this, so that when we wrap it with string, this back end doesn't, you know, the tissue doesn't fall out, doesn't look stupid, right? Okay, so there we have it. Now we just gotta wrap the string. And this used to take me a long time. Used to, I should say. It was just yesterday, right? So basically, you just take the black string here, and you lay it down just a little bit. You don't want to lay this way down here, because you're gonna have to wind the string over it. Just a little bit, you know, maybe an inch. Okay, then I hold it there, and I wrap the string around, and I lock it in place where I want it to be. Come on, there we go. So I'm gonna lock that just where I want it to be. Maybe I'll do a couple wraps so I make sure it's locked. There we go. And now I'm going to rotate my hand here, because I'm going to rotate it like this. I'm going to start spinning the shuriken. I'm going to keep my thumb to guide the thread on. And you notice here I'm using my forefinger and thumb to make sure I don't have any gaps in the thread. Like, see there's a gap there, so I'm going to close it up. So I'm going to put my glasses on now, because, like I said, 53 years old, it happened. I'm going to do some more eye exercises. I'll let you know how that goes. Maybe I can get it back. Okay, so we're just gonna spin these here. It's gonna take me a while, so I'm probably gonna fast forward this because I don't really have any good jokes to tell you right now. So like I said, these are kind of like your high-end shuriken, right? You know, your probably rich samurai would come and want to get this one. As a ninja, you know, you don't want to be carrying this one around because, you know, they'd know exactly what you're carrying and who you are. You know, ninja would just use anything. We'd throw a stick. We'd throw a stick at you. Throw some rocks. Literally, we'd throw some poop at you. It doesn't matter, right? You know. Actually, ninja used to carry around just, you know, spikes from houses, right? Like nails from houses. So that way, you know, if you were carrying around something, you just say, well, I was on a construction site, right? The more things change, the more they stay the same, right? So things that look less like weapons or just everyday weapons that are around you all the time, we ninja like those. These fancy weapons are great, but just can't beat those everyday weapons all around you. So again, these are a bit expensive. You know, if you want some, I got some. I'm not trying to push them on you, you know, because they are expensive. My price points were expensive on these things, so they're expensive. Probably going to be like, I don't know, $35 to $40 a pop. Depends. I got to go look at my prices, but you know, you don't have to buy a set. If you want one, just buy one for your collection. And I thought I'd show you how to wrap it, just so you can make your own colors for your own school, maybe, or just buy one. Just buy one, and maybe have a person in your area try to copy them, make them, you know. Again, like I said, though, they're 8-sided, and nobody wants to do this because it takes too much time. It's just it's a lot of work for one shuriken. You know, that's when I was trying to bargain with the guy up there, and I said, hey, you know, can you make them cheaper? He's like, what are you trying to do to me? You know, they're 8-sided. It took me like, you know, hours to make one. Are you kidding me? I'm not letting these go for, you know, cheap. So my price points are high, but I figured, hey, I've got them here. If you want some, you let me know. Again, I don't have a lot, so, you know, just buy one if you want, or well, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Hey, I'm getting better at spinning this thing. I'm using my thumb to keep that thread from, overlapping or getting any spaces, and so far it's working out pretty good right now. Actually, it's turning out pretty good, this shuriken, I have to say. So we're almost at the top here, and this is when we have to change directions and do a little bit of a sneaky maneuver. It's not that sneaky, but I'm going to show you how to do it, because we don't want any tie-offs. You know, we don't want to have to tie that thread off somewhere and make it look really ugly. That's about as far as I want to go this way. So what we do here, we got to reverse the direction of this string here so that we can, again, rewrap over it and then use this kind of cinch technique to finish it off. Now I'm going to actually cut this thread over here. Otherwise it gets tangled up at the end here. I'm going to cut this over here with this expensive nail clipper. Was it worth it? Maybe. I don't know. So you get down towards the end here, and you're just going to make a loop. See this? I'm just making a loop, and I'm bringing this back over to this side here. And I'm just going to take the end here, and like we did before, I'm just going to lay it down the shuriken. Almost like we did at the start, but now the opposite direction. Just going to lay it down the shuriken here, like that. So it's a loop. You just basically took the end of the loop, and now you're laying it back down the shuriken over here. And you're going to keep winding this one around the shuriken, okay? So I'm going to try to keep this string over here. You see what I'm talking about here? So now I just laid it down the shuriken this way. Hope you can see that on the overhead camera. And I'm just going to wrap it now this way. I'm going to lock it in like this. Bam. It's locked in now. And now I just keep wrapping. Wow, black on black. This is even challenging with my glasses on. So I'm a little bit more tension on that rope maybe, so it keeps out of my way. This may take me a while, black on black. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, maybe I'll get some different colors of thread and we'll make some other cool looking ones down the road here. But for the time being, we got black today. Everyone likes black, especially if you're in ninjutsu, right? Or I should say the muted tones, right? Because some people say, you know, you don't want to wear black gi at night because that sticks out too, right? So I'm going to wrap this right up to the very edge of this shuriken here, packing it down, keeping it nice and tight. And when I get up to the very edge here, we're going to be able to cinch this cord up inside it, and it's gonna really turn out to be a beautiful piece of work here. We're almost out to the top here. I hope you can see that. Got maybe one. I can maybe make one more loop at the very top here. I'm gonna push it down, finish off right there. Let's see how it works. So I only have this much thread left, so we're lucky. I'm holding that in place here. Now the thread that we had down the shuriken is inside those threads here, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull that. Hopefully you're getting this on, or hopefully I'm getting it on video. Cinch it up. You see how it's cinching, cinching up. Bam, 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 right in. Just give it a nice little tug here. Don't pull it too tight, but look at that. What do you think, people? I think that looks pretty sexy. All right. I told you it's Arts and Craft Day. I feel like that painter, Bob Ross, you know. I hope this is interesting for you. Well, I understand why they made me get this nice nail clipper, because that looks fantastic. What do you think? That looks pretty freaking awesome. Hey everyone, Paul here. This video was getting a bit too long, so I decided to make it into 2 parts. So please join us in the next video coming up soon, where I show you how to finish this Negishi Ryu Shuriken and put this beautiful lacquered handle on. If you liked the video, if you learned something, please go ahead and Bujinkan that like button, because that just helps other like-minded people find our channel, and we certainly appreciate that. And also, if you want to see more of this type of content, go ahead and subscribe. You know, if you like ninja, go ahead and subscribe. And hey, who doesn't like ninja, right? So I appreciate you guys watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.